I'm McCauley, and I'm praying up in Syracuse, New York. And one of our group members here wanted to talk about meditation, and we will talk about that. And we're also going to talk about Lent tonight. And the first thing I want to direct your eyes to is the saying on the back of the log that says, prayer is when you talk to God, and meditation is when God talks to you. It's hard for God to talk to us if we never shut up. So that's the one thing about meditation, and we're going to get back to that. But the first thing I want to talk about is the most wonderful time of the year. Lent! I love Lent. Anyone who doesn't know me does not know how much I love Lent. I think Lent is one of the most wonderful times of the year. And you might say, well, Ash, Wednesday was yesterday, and I blew it already, so I don't really want to talk about Lent. And then many of you, if the scale is any indication, not only had a fat Tuesday, you had a fat Monday, a fat Sunday, a fat Saturday, need I go on. But the thing is, Lent means renewal. To renew ourselves, to prepare for the Lenten promises. And it's so much better than a New Year's resolution. Because what Nick just said, to please God, to offer prayer and fasting and almsgiving for God, to please God, to prepare ourselves, to understand that we are ashes and we will return to ashes. But there is the hope of everlasting life. And I want to talk first of all as Lent as divine therapy. And redemption basically is about holistic health. We're healthy in our body, mind, and soul. And Lent leads us to a radical transformation if we allow it to. You see, we all have these needs. We have security needs and power needs and affection, esteem needs. And Christ faced those three temptations from Satan in the desert. He became fully human and came to earth so he could be a role model for us. I mean, he fasted for 40 days. Some of us can't fast one meal, you know? And when you think about that, I'm not suggesting anyone fast for 40 days. But I'm saying we should be able to say, I can fast from fast food, or I can fast from, I'm going to say it, everybody, fried fish. Fried fish with honker coleslaw, honker tartar sauce, and fries with tons of ketchup. I'm sacrificing for God, pass that tartar sauce, you know. Or better yet, I'm sacrificing for God and not eating meat, so I'm going to go to Red Lobster and I'm going to have the lobster fest. It always amazes me. You know, we are trying to come in tune with what God wants us to understand, that this life is not just about pleasing ourselves. It's about helping others, pleasing God. And how do we satisfy or gratify the emotions that we go through? I mean, there's emotions like shame, humiliation, anger, greed. Those are instincts that we all have. And so often we feel these feelings, and we turn to food or alcohol or other things to compensate. And God's over there going, here I am, here I am. And this article, Father Thomas is saying, think about meditation, prayer. You know, that can make us come in tune. One person said to me that she was having a hard time sleeping, and I remember the years I had trouble sleeping. And I used to take Benadryl to fall asleep at night because I could not slow my mind down. My mind was, what about this? What about that? I took so much Benadryl over the years. I have dry eye syndrome from all those antihistamines. I can't take any Benadryl, not any antihistamine. So what worked for me is getting up early, working my butt off all day, prayer. I go to bed at night. I have no trouble sleeping now. I fall right to sleep. But you got to move. You got to pray, and you got to ask God to help you. And so many people think that giving up chocolate or meat on Fridays is Lent, but it's only scratching the surface of Lent. If you're giving up chocolate, but the week before Lent you eat everything under the sun that's chocolate, and on Easter morning you set the clock for midnight or 12:01, and you're biting the head off a bunny, what have you learned about yourself? Have you learned that you can control those impulses? Have you learned that you can sacrifice things for a bigger meaning? So if you were to go around the office and say, what'd you give up for Lent? Chocolate. Everyone says that. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But what are we learning about ourselves and God? If we can't give up chocolate for 40 days, how can we give up other things? How can we even begin to start on transformation? If I ask people to give up pizza for 40 days, there's people who have pizza every other day in the group. I don't mean in the world. I mean in the group. In this weight loss group. The thing is, we're confronted with the emotional damage of a lifetime that many of us have lived through. And that's why I try to talk about things like self-image and self-love and shame and the feelings we have, because so much of what we're dealing with we have to let go of, let God, and try to go forward. And Lent's a good time to really examine yourself. One of these people, they talk about going on a retreat. I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to remember, have I ever gone on a retreat?
Yeah.
Once, right? Over to the Stella Maris house. And that was what, 16, 17 years ago? And the thing is, I want to go on a retreat. Let's all go on a pray it off retreat. What do you say? But the next thing people are going to say, what do we eat? What do we have to eat? But the thing is, and that Stella Maris retreat house had a lot of good food. If you remember. I know. But Christ the King has retreats. If you can't have a place to meditate at your own home, think about going on a retreat. Our lives are pushed and pulled by so many external demands that unless we really make a conscious effort to have it be a good Lent, and who's it a good Lent for? For you! For you to become closer to God, to become closer to yourself. It's a time where we can concentrate on what can I do to be a better person, body, mind, and soul. And I've included a Lenten prayer here, and I'm just going to hit a couple. I want you to pray it every day if you can, but I really like it. And a couple of the highlights. Help me to discipline my body, to be renewed in spirit. Nourish me with your word of life. Nourish me with that. Give me grace to rise above my human weakness. This is a powerful prayer, and I'm going to invite you all to take it and say it at home. And then another thing about Lent, and I'm trying to turn the page, and giving things up for a reason. This person says she gave up caffeine, but she added strength training. So it's not just about giving things up, it's about adding things too. Like I don't mean me, like you might say, I'm going to add a 20-minute walk to my day for Lent. So it's not giving up something, it's adding something. And one of my Lenten intentions is I want to play the piano every week. I used to play the piano, not very good. I was an adult and I tried to learn it. And when I played it, I enjoyed it. And Bob was my biggest fan. He loved listening to me. But I'm too busy to play the piano, and I enjoy it. So for Lent, I wrote down, play the piano. Because it gives me joy, and I think God likes it when I play. So I do. I think he likes music, and I always play religious songs. That's probably why he likes it especially. But I just think doing something extra, because there are habits you want to break. Maybe you're trying to give up a certain food, or here's a good one, gossiping, swearing, negativity, nail biting. It was funny. One time I had everyone write down things they were going to give up, not necessarily for Lent, just give up, and people handed them in. And this one person who was so sweet, she was just the epitome of sweetness. She wrote, "Give up swearing at work." I couldn't imagine her ever saying, I could never imagine her saying a bad word, you know? So I'm like, whoa, you learn a lot about people with what they want to give up, you know? But, and then things that people enjoy. You know, people are on their phones and Facebook and Pinterest. You know, I might get letters to the editor for this, but what, Pinterest? You go there, you like something, what's the big deal? I don't see the attraction with some of these sites, and people are addicted to, trolling, like. You know, it's fun to watch pictures of other people, but if you're doing it too often, if you can't go to the bathroom without your cell phone, that's a problem, okay? Also, people say losing weight involves giving things up. And you might look at losing weight as a negative thing, but I think it's a positive thing. Losing weight's a positive thing if you've got weight to lose. It helps you move more, you feel better about yourself, your blood pressure goes down. What is the bad part about losing weight? Oh, I know, giving up ice cream, pizza, cookies, cakes. But we can't have our cake and eat it too. And that's very applicable for a weight loss group, okay? Also, to be more intentional with your time. We love the Olympics, but we tape them and we watch them the next night. Because 3.5 hours of primetime Olympics, you can watch in 40 minutes and see it all. Because there are so many commercials, so much filler that's not even good filler. So don't be glued to a TV. You might say, well, Olympics only come every 4 years. Tape it, watch it like we do. We love it. Also, this person's not going to eat any chips, pretzels, or processed crackers for the next 40 days. And you might say, well, Ellen, it's too late. I already wrote down my Lenten intention. I wrote down give up chocolate. And guess what? God told me on my way here that He's going to let you modify your Lenten intentions. He doesn't care that it's Thursday. He said you can modify your Lenten intentions at any time. So if today you say, why didn't I give up chips, pretzels, and processed crackers? Because you didn't want to, number one. And number two, think about it because it's good for you. How do you feel about giving things up for a period of time? Do you find it helpful or frustrating? Remember that question because you're going to answer it in small group. And I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.